Hello all. I think we're still waiting on a couple of people before the drafting begins. I'll continue to assume that until I see the draft timer start up. Oh, and I actually need to fix the sides in game 2. Okay. Today we'll be featuring, I assume, the Week 1 match versus Insane Banana Posse and Small Brain No Mechanic. I believe I will be a solo caster for the night. Unless anyone does hop in, but two of the alternate casters are in this match, and the other one is preoccupied with some real stuff. So I am all you've got. I figured to try some different music during the wait time before swapping it to the DJ Sona songs for the draft and everything. You know, just to shake it up a bit. Options. Waiting on one more person, I believe. I think. What's WSP? About 10 minutes more, I think, before the first ban penalty takes effect. I forget if it's 10 or 15. I don't know why I forget. I'm pretty sure I knew last stream. Or I think it was the one before. Whatever. Is it time? Are we beginning? Yes, we are. Alright, Small Brain's opening up the bands with Gwen. Makes sense considering the changes closer to her pre-nerf state have been. Banana Posse rules out the Renekton. Board taking a hit as well. You know, banning Renekton would kind of go, hey, I might want to use this, so. Fair response. Azir taken out by Insane Banana. And Amumu, the final ban of the first wave. First pick for Small Brains going to Morgana. Response being Urgot. And does not have any magical damage. And I would assume this Morgana is going to be jungle. Morgana in the jungle with even more move speed buffs. Outside of Blue Smite. Could have a lot of map presence. Could be a bit destructive, we'll see. Banana Posse deciding to opt for Nami as their second pick. Support locked in with their AD carry still unknown. While Small Brains is opting for Yunara. Might put a bit of pressure against a Lucian pick, as Lucian is a bit more bursty focused. Yunara is better at drawn out engagements. Alongside a tankier support that can interrupt Lucian's move in. Could make some good turnaround, I assume. And for their final pick of the first set, Small Brains turning away from the Shyvana, opting for Skarner instead. The final pick of the set for Banana Posse. Decisions. Are we going to see a carry? And we see the Olaf. Assuming that will be an Olaf in the top lane. Or it could be jungling. I'm not sure how well Urgot in the jungle fares this season. So I know they buffed a lot of champions in general for the jungle. Apparently Jace jungle's been pretty solid, which is funny considering way back when I wanted jungle Jace, but Fox is like, no, that gameplay is toxic to just shoot a Q out from the jungle. Then suddenly he's in the jungle. I was right. Alright, Banana Posse banning Jax, Small Brains banning Vlad. And there goes the Heen for Banana Posse's final ban, followed up by Karthus for Small Brains. As we go into the last set of picks. Alright. There's the cane lock. Or banana. Wait. Could it be a mid Olaf? Maybe. I mean, where else could he go at this point with the setup? You're definitely not sending Kane topside, right? Their composition thus far truly does meet the insane standard. As Small Brains locks in Rise and Yorick for their final two picks. No. 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 You do not. You do not pick Yumi. No. Okay. Okay. Not seeing another freaking Yumi Kane situation, thank God. I don't want my head to explode again. I appreciate it, but not so much the hovering. That was a lot of mental damage in itself. Alright, teams are going to be rearranging themselves before starting the actual draft. I assume that Jamustis will probably start up the thing for us. Alright, team composition checks. Okay, I think it's safe to say that it'll be Ziggs and Nami bot. I would assume Olaf is mid with Kane jungle and Urgot top. Then for Small Brains top side, will more than likely be Yorick, followed by Rise mid, Skarner jungle, Yunara, Morgana bot. Okay, they're doing blind pick. The in-game. Wait, so that's a Ziggs mid? Urgot bot into Yunara? That seems very risky. Alright, now just gotta wait out the spectator delay. Don't know how long that's gonna be. Okay then. So if we're playing Ziggs mid, and Urgot bot, Hmm. Ziggs autos outrange Rise, but he does have higher mana cost, but he has good zoning power and clearing power. At, I think it was around level 5 roughly, especially if he gets back. On like level 3 or 4. I forget the specifics. Skarner won't really be able to do too much topside. Yorick is... I want to say that Yorick is bad for Olaf. Cause the wall can't really stop Olaf. Or because the wall is the only thing that can stop Olaf's movement, we'll have to take some time to break it down. Not sure what spells Olaf is taking, but he doesn't necessarily need Ghost. But if he doesn't take, doesn't necessarily need Flash, but if he doesn't take Flash, it will make him even more susceptible to the Yorick walls. So some plays can be out with that. Not sure actually how Skarner's E works with Yorick's walls. I guess I'll see. I don't think that Urgot matches Yunara's range, so it might be problematic for him, especially since a lot of the CC options available for Urgot and Nami will be preventable by Morgana's Black Shield. He is also a very big target to land the Dark Binding on. And I think it might be difficult for him to safely farm at towers if he is pushed up. But if he is pushed up, then it would give avenue for Kayn to gank. But, you know, depending on how Small Brains reacts to that, might work against them if they try. But we shall see, as the game is here to begin. Starting to load.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
See some pings of the Raptors.
Minions have spawned.
Rise sneaking over. Got one stack. His root settled. More bone plating procced. Procking the bone plating on its own doesn't block any damage. Only follow-up attacks. Nice movement. Lots of autos weaved and costing Ziggs some mana. Working out well for him. Olaf putting a lot of pressure up top already. Fighting level 1 for Yorick might not be the best idea. Gotta play it safe until you have the tools that will give you your advantage. Olaf does have Flash and Ghost, so no Ignite. Moving up with level 2, Dark Binding out. Urgot cannot move, forced to Flash, followed up by Yunara, getting the kill. Out comes the barrier to shield some of that turret damage. Nice. First blood. In favor of a Small Brains, no mechanic. Urgot not being able to safely step up. Ooh, here comes a nice gank from Skarner, pushing Ziggs away from his tower. Second kill going to Rise. Very strong start here. Unfortunate missing the cannon for Yorick. Nice tower hit. Olaf very low health. You want to be careful engaging against that, considering once you see that shield goes up, Olaf becomes notably more survivable. But Kayn is along the top side. Could use that to his advantage. Doesn't know where Skarner is, who is sitting on the bot side. Right, there comes some ghouls over. Olaf, 100 health. Wall's not available. Low on mana for Yorick. Going in, has enough for the Q. Kayn not arriving on time. Coming over the wall now. Not going to be able to finish him off as the flashes come out. Will be a big wave for Olaf to come back to at the very least, so it's not the worst thing. But did go aggressive a bit early. Backing it up. I didn't realize the camera was locked onto Kayn right there. Alright, Urgot went for a flip. Dark Shield after immediately. Skarner comes out, will knock Urgot away from his tower. Kill onto him by Yunara. Nami flashes out to safety. With barely any health remaining. And Olaf happily gonna collect all of these minions. He may have died to the Yorick, but he does have a slowly increasing lead of minions, as he didn't really lose any from the death. Does have a fair amount of lifesteal. Yorick will, once he has his maiden available to him. But until then, not the best movement right there. Going aggressive. Skarner working his way topside though. Not sure what Olaf is trying to get out of this. Will get knocked away. Ooh, he still managed to secure the kill with the axe throw. I am insanely surprised that he managed to get that. Yorick was kind of baiting a bit for too long, I guess. And he's gonna miss, or Yorick is gonna miss a couple of minions because of that, I believe. I know there were like at least 2 minions under the tower when he got taken out. And considering he's behind by 14 right now, and Olaf's minions are pushing up, he is going to be a notable XP disadvantage. His level 6 is about here, but I think that he might have actually lost much of his opportunity to play as aggressive as he's trying to. Skarner and Ryze moving for Dragon. Bot lane coming to assist. While Kayn's hovering the top, and this first Dragon is looking to go to Small Brains. Kayn hovering, but Yorick is backing off. Will Olaf hit 7? Probably not. Yeah, I think he still needs like 2 more waves. But he's got a pretty nice freeze. It's gonna be a bit difficult for Urgot to safely interact with this very much. Just work on expanding that gold lead. Ryze doing some good work for Small Brains, however, in the mid lane. Urgot caught out once again. Another Dark Binding, dropping 300 health, flashes out with Ignite tacked onto him. More health potion, or refill pots at the very least, going away. Kayn works his way down bot side, but not really going to have anything to capitalize off of. Alright, caught out again, the Urgot, as he will go down. Olaf picking another fight with Yorick. gets taken out by a nice, powerful, chonky Q.
I shall perform your rites.
Using the wall to distance himself from the Olaf while his minions were taking the tower aggro for him. Good movements. Actually, I'm gonna just bring us back a bit so we can see how that fight actually worked out. Alright. So yeah. Olaf sitting around half health, hits the axe. The maiden is attacking him. Yeah, there's the distancing, so Olaf's ultimate drops and goes back aggressive into it. Very well handled by War Butcher. Or Vic. I'm confused saying War Butcher because War Initiate. My bad. Vic the Butcher. Alright. So, Dragon is dead. We do have the Void Grubs up, however. You see Morgana and Skarner up on the top side of the map. Kayn nowhere near, but he will be working his way up there shortly. We'll see whether or not Skarner actually has time to take these objectives. Actually, Kayn's going really slow about this. He might not actually make it before any of the grubs are dead.
One more grave.
There comes a ping. All 3 grubs down. That is 0 neutral objectives for Insane Banana Posse thus far. And Yunara has almost a level lead onto Urgot. Nice movements from Rise, keeping him alive. As Ziggs gets his first tower plating thanks to his passive.
I must dig.
Some more ooh, some pings coming out. Possibly gonna try and catch this Nami out of position. Has to flash away from the Soul Shackles. Or no, Dark Binding. Soul Shackles, the ultimate. And she will get out safely. Urgot Ghost Pop, and Olaf Ghost Popped. Not his ultimate, however. Urgot will walk it back. This is canon, some other stuff as a result. Olaf is lacking in some XP, however. Urgot possibly dead yet again. As York died topside. Alright, there comes the Dark Binding yet again from Morgana. And let me back it up again. Because apparently I only choose to change cameras when someone dies. Alright, there's the flash and the E finished off York. Okay. There's the Dark Binding. As Ziggs is hovering, just in case there's any movements. Skarner coming in from the walls, will pin Nami to the wall, gets knocked up with the ultimate, but he will take her out as another Dark Binding lands onto Urgot. Tower damage, I don't think is reset yet, but the kill will go to Yunara. Ziggs rotating his way down bot side, but it might be a bit dangerous for him to actually get close to that with those 3 there. Although Morgana did back off. Fair amount of damage being put onto Skarner. Alright, out comes the Kayn, still not evolved, not quite sure how much progress he has. But Skarner will go down. Down comes Rise. And Ziggs is teleporting back to middle. Infernal Drake is up. Skarner making his way towards it. Kayn is as well. Kayn's still unevolved. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's a way for me to check his evolution progress. Got 3 looking into the rise. Out comes the flash. Will get away. Urgot may be weak, but he might still be able to establish presence if his team desires to fight, deciding not to instead. This will be the second Drake going to Small Brains. Still have commanding lead of all the neutral objectives. The Hextech and Infernal Drake are 2 very strong dragons to have access to, as there is some more non-stop fighting up the top side. Peek down the bot, because there's been a lot of under-tower kills thus far, as another Dark Binding reaches Olaf. I know. Okay. Alright, there comes the Olaf ultimate under the tower. Trying to walk his way around, but there's a lot of minions and the tower itself blocking his movement. Tower goes down first time in this match to the Yunara, as Urgot has been struggling quite a bit. Not surprised, as noted, his hitbox is massive, or at least it feels like it's massive, makes it very easy for Morgana to land. As Kayn will be pinned to a wall. Not sure walling in with Yorick will make too much of a difference, however. Nice ultimate. A bit of healing for the Urgot, thanks to the Maiden. Will avoid the final blow, however. It looks like we'll probably be seeing a blue Kayn, however. When the time comes to evolve. Skarner moving in onto the Olaf, clearing the minions. Stride Breaker breaking his stride, preventing his further movement. As another Dark Binding lands onto Ziggs this time. Nami ult comes out, Soul Shackles and Zanya's will not do a thing, as Ziggs Q kinda sits in position to ensure her death. Okay, and that is actually a red Kayn. Got some more fighting between Auric and... instead of Auric. Olaf and Yorick. Skarner chasing Kayn through the wall. Ziggs will satchel charge away. And Yorick will be faced to back off from his tower. Skarner walking back topside, but Yorick does have his ultimate. Olaf does have his ultimate available. Maiden is not up. Alright, Olaf able to keep his ultimate active thanks to Skarner, you know, being melee, but Yunara coming over will have damage that he cannot fend off. As Small Brains will turn to take this Rift Herald. Once again, seemingly uncontested. But not all that much the Banana Posse can do at this point other than try and recoup their position into this game. Not like they're like performing bad, it's just, you know, Yorick's state has been relatively unfortunate and Kayn has not had many avenues to make himself effective. Both bottom and top lanes have been hard entry points for him. Ooh, Zigzalt comes out. 300 health on Morgana as she backs off. Dark Binding comes out. The slow from Inara will not reach Nami. That is a lot of hurt coming out. Nami getting out safely despite the satchel charge pushing her close, or pushing Inara closer to her. Top laner XP is very even, I'm surprised. But I guess that's the home guard changes for you. Home guard changes are a deterrent to walking into the jungle very early when rushing to objectives as well. Ooh. Olaf landing the Q on Inara. Wait, where did she go? Ah, into the Rift Herald to disengage. Okay. Alright, nice Skarner ultimate catching to the Olaf and Kayn, who proceeds to ult himself. Misses Skarner with his Q. As Urgot comes in to assist. Ziggs taking out Inara, Olaf going down. Skarner very low himself, dashes to his death. Ziggs just getting a lot of gold given to him. He's gonna be a bit of a menace if this keeps up. Ryze is holding up fairly well, but dancing around those bombs is gonna be a bit of a challenge the longer this goes on. Especially the more support you may get. Since you both gotta stop moving to cast anything, you know? However, Ziggs is very low on mana. We'll have to go back level 12. Let's see, how much gold? 2,000. Shadow. I'm forgetting names, man. Shadow Flame purchased alongside a Needle Rod. His AP skyrocketing 314. Those Qs and passive are gonna do a lot of hurt. And Nami getting a bit vaporized down there. Ult comes out, not going to be enough to get out. Cooldown should be ready by the time she's up and out and about, maybe. Not quite, but as that will be the third Drake secured for Small Brains. 1 to go. 369 for their gold value. Kayn knocked out of the wall by a ghoul punching him. Garner working its way out. This is a really hard game for Banana Posse. Again, the Urgot pick has not been very effective. It's kind of, you know, the difference between meme lanes when, you know, like a Yasuo pick where he has a good means of handling several marksmen and like real good flash hand damage. As Ziggs will go down to the Dark Binding and Inara follow up, unable to move the entire duration of that route. Another binding coming out, catching the fish yet again. And this... Alright, Kayn and Urgot are kind of going to have to try and contest this, as Olaf is very low health and not going to be able to assist. Urgot goes down. Kayn forced away, else he will die. But too much time has passed. Ziggs is up, and getting Baron is a bit too dangerous at this point. Yorick not wanting to give Olaf a safe retreat. Those ghouls doing a lot of hurt to him. Out comes the shield to keep him alive a bit, however. Q from Nami. As the Maiden will run, Ziggs gets caught out. Walking into the jungle. And Chain CC'd. Ah, man, what am I doing, man? I need to see this stuff. Okay. Satchel charges himself into the jungle. Zanya's to avoid his ultimate as Skarner nearly dies but gets out alive. And Yorick putting a lot of hurt onto the Nami, avoiding her bubble and taking her out. Olaf not able to get close in a safe manner as Zanya's is now glitched in audio. Urgot experiencing even more hurt. Got nearly a 7k gold lead.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Top laners are bot, mid laner is top with another bot laner also top. Small Brain's just doing incredibly well this match. Even the Yorick struggles into the Olaf early on have kind of been eliminated at this point, as Urgot going down yet again. Those Morgana Qs have been nasty for him. As Olaf getting targeted by Skarner yet again, nailed to the tower. Guess he did want to break him, but not quite like that. Out comes his W, but he will not be getting away, as Skarner will take him out with a W, point blank. Not sure if the flash was necessary, though. Baron is still up. There is some vision control being planted by Small Brains' support, as Zanya's audio glitch is still there. Skarner coming in from the side. Ooh, almost. And the fish finally goes down. Yunar taking a lot of hurt, and Morgana almost getting one shot by the Ziggs. Those bombs are nukes, but Rise is coming in from the rear. Will get rooted, but Satchel charged away into the wall by Skarner. Will go down, I assume, to the red buff. As recalls go out, that is a lot of gold to be spending here. Blasting Wand and Boots, I believe, for Rise. Ziggs still about 100 short of death cap, which will be another sizable buff to his damage output. It's pretty huge as it already is. And the root catches the fish once more. 14 assists on the board for Morgana, as Olaf is deep into enemy territory.
Behold the horrors of the Isles.
As he will be chased down by Yorick as he's proxing a bit. Yorick gets caught out. Might not actually get away from this. Yep, there comes the binding and pull from Morgana, as Yorick finally takes out Olaf in the top side jungle. Pain just moving around down here. Finally goes down as Dragon Soul is ready. And, you got Yunara and Yorick taking out Baron. No jungler threat, so it is a bit safer, but you do have a Ziggs threat if he catches on. But it looks like he might be going back to get a death cap here in a bit, so I don't think there's going to be much of a risk of stealing. Very surprised to see the Baron going down before Dragon. But that will be the soul. Next up is Elder Dragon in 6 minutes, but will we even get that far? Honestly, at this point, I don't feel like that will be the case. Skarner coming out, locks down the Urgot, who buffers his E, will still go down. Kane taking a lot of hurt, down to 3/4 of his health. One caster Yunara chunking a 5th of, more like 6 of Ziggs. Trying to do what he can to defend, but the fish caught by another Dark Binding from Morgana. This is a very hard game. Out comes Ziggs' ultimate, clearing what he can. There's still the cannon minion taking shots at the turret as the Rise ult comes back. Olaf is flanked. Allies are forced back off. Kane going in, successful ult onto Morgana, who pops her Zanya's. Will explode as she comes out to the Ziggs. Yorick still full health. Rise getting very low, however. Or that's Skarner at full health. Yorick E lands onto Kane, who has taken so much damage from these ghouls. As Yorick walks out of base and heads home. Does have teleport available, so if they wanted to keep pressing this, they could. "34 kills to 8. Honestly, I'm not really sure what can be done here for Banana Posse at this point. I feel like it's been kind of out of their hands for a while now, no matter how much gold Ziggs gets. There's just no, like, routes that I can even consider for them to be able to recover.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
That is another base turret dead. Inhibitor exposed. Top side almost dead as well. There's no neutral objectives to worry about. All buffs have been taken out as well. As Yorick's pushing the bot, his allies, Yorick and Yunara pushing the bot, and their allies pushing the top side. Don't think Olaf can really defend from that, however. Got those Baron empowerments going on as well.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Second inhibitor down, that's another kill onto Olaf. Realm Warp from Urgot, sending his allies. Skarner behind them, gets knocked up by the Nami bubble under the fountain to his death. That is a lot of damage from the Ziggs, as expected. Will secure a kill onto the Yunara. Rise in a very tough spot, will probably die from that. One more hit from the Yorick to finish off this game. Out come the GGs. Alright, and that was the end of game one. A bit one-sided. Honestly, despite the kill differential, the goal was closer than it could have been. Like, I feel most of the gold deficit was, you know, the Urgot, unfortunately. But, well, and Kane. It was a very hard match for the two of them. Very unfortunate. But we move on to game two, which is already in draft. Because I went back a couple of times to make sure that certain things that I failed to catch were caught. Apologies for that, but I apologize for my bad camera work, even more so. Shouldn't have amounted to that, but in my defense, who could expect a 30% health Olaf to try and tower dive a Yorick at half health, you know? And it looks like Small Brains will still be on blue side for game two. They did lock in Yumi, Lee Sin, and Sivir, with Banana Posse taking Nautilus, Karthus, and Leona. That is a Nautilus mid, correct? Or it could be a Karthus bot, I guess? Eh, who knows? We'll see when the time comes. Yes, it is Fearless. And yeah, Ziggs was basically the entire team's damage output that match. Other than, the most of the scuffles between Yorick and Olaf. Alright. Second set of picks, Banana Posse going for Xin Zhao, Small Brains, Gragas. It's really weird to me that they changed Xin Zhao's like base art when it honestly looked fine as it was. Even if the model were changed, I think it still would have fit just fine. But oh well. Alright. Silas, the last pick for Small Brains, as Banana Posse. Gonna be thinking about it. Xin Zhao and Zahin? Okay. Man, if it were the both of them, that would be some very problematic silhouette recognition for me. Once again, Banana Posse has no marksman. So it's leaving me to assume that that is a Karthus in the bot lane into a Sivir. With a Leona also into a Sivir. There is a Yumi, and the lack of AoE hard CC makes it a bit difficult to, keep her separated if she ever does hop off. I would do a team composition evaluation, but I'm honestly not sure if that would be worthwhile to do, as Banana Posse's compositions have been pretty silly for Game 1 and this match. It's basically a Hail Mary of will it pull off. At the very least, like, Karthus and Leona isn't necessarily a bad setup. Like, they can do damage. Karthus is at least a better pick than Urgot was, I feel. Because even if he dies, he'll still be able to farm. And, because the way Leona's passive works, it's just free real estate. I wonder, though, if Karthus still has the tech that he used to. Or toggling his, E would do more damage than just letting it sit. Okay, and it looks to be a Nautilus Leona bot, Arthas jungle. Set and Zinjao, mid and top respectively. So I guess I was thrown off yet again with these champion position placements. And it looks to me that Nautilus is probably going to be the carry then. I said that, you know, a Karthus spot would be better than Urgot, and now we have two tanks. I guess, you know, if they make it work, then maybe Sivir will have a rough time, but uh, I feel that Lee Sin and Silas will have plenty of time to assist and capitalize if that aggression does come to pass. But then again, I guess the current season meta kind of restricts roaming, so maybe we won't see Silas contradict their lane mission. I don't know. We'll see. 2.5 minutes till it begins, and then we'll see if this IBP composition will be more valuable than the previous. Alright, get your snacks and get ready for game 2. It's currently 1-0 in favor of Small Brains Mechanic. What you getting? I'm pretty partial to sesame chicken. Sesame seeds are delicious. Sweet sauce. Alright. And the game is underway.
Summoner's Rift.
Got some pings towards the Raptors yet again.
Minions have spawned.
E did not go over the wall. Abscond. Its name is. And Nautilus there with his Dolan shield. Some poke coming out from Zinjao. And a big scuffle in the mid. A lot of damage on the Silas. You know, I forget if Set is supposed to be like a really hard countering Silas. I feel like one or the other was like hard countered seasons ago, 3 seasons. He missed. Nautilus taking a lot of hurt. Ooh, a lot of damage coming out from Sivir. Shield's blocking just a bit. Let's see that health regen that Nautilus is getting. Yeah, health potions are running. 79 it ticks up to. Sorry. Okay, Karth is going for his red buff. Gets caught out by Lee Sin, who is sitting in wait. Flashes away, only to be taken out by Ward Hop. As Leona goes in aggressively onto Sivir. Nautilus comes in, taking a lot of damage from the casters. Leona forced to back off, flashes away. Will get followed, only to die. As Nautilus dropped to 200 health as well. Has no mana left, so getting any minions is going to be difficult for him at the tower. Will be able to get XP at the very least, but Lee Sin coming up here top into the Xin Zhao. Out comes the body slam to guarantee no ease will be coming out from the Zines. Karth is coming in for a gank on the bot side. Leona walking towards that mid brush, wards it beforehand. Good. Out comes the root from Nautilus. Does not succeed. Yuumi splitting off from the Sivir. Will she be getting away safely? Out comes the Silas, gets the abduct off onto the Nautilus for the knockup and pull for the kill. As Sivir will succeed in escaping right in front of Karthus' face. Another abduct comes out. Karthus going down to Silas, bringing him to 1 kill, 1 assist, 3 stacks on his ring. The body slam coming out, the instant Xin ease onto the fatty boy. A lot of her coming out, but his passive is going to keep him healed somewhat. Barrel. Abduct misses the target right there. Misclick from the Xin, I think. Alright, minion wave, not yet. Okay, it is crashed at this point. Only 3 minions being held there, so it is pushing back to Xin, especially since they're so close to the tower. Set has a pretty sizable CS lead in the mid lane. But ooh, the gold is further than I thought. Okay, so it's working out for him. Oh crap, crap. Oh my god.
Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
Okay. sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Busted heads.
Thank you for the ping, Discord. Uh... Okay. I brought the game back to the start. If game 3 happens to begin while we're watching, I will let this run out. We may miss the draft, but it's okay. I believe. Okay. And ignore the chat on the left side. Oh, and music's still playing. Alright. Got some fighting topside. Pushed them off the minions, got them squarely.
We got the zoomies.
I'm so sorry, guys. Alright, and now you see the Lee Sin heading up to the red buff to pick off the Karthus. Taking him out. There's the flash from the Karthus. Ward hop and kill from the Lee Sin. You see, there is a good reason as to why you run Exhaust as Karthus jungle. Because if that happens, you fight. The splash won't save you. As Leona also goes down to the top, bottom side. Nautilus being forced off. Lee Sin will be hovering the top, flanking the Xin Zhao, not permitting him any safety. Gragas being careful about it. As, you know, Xin Zhao can be pretty bursty. Karthus moving towards the bot side. Here comes the ward from Leona. Decides to go left, Nautilus goes right. Gets blocked by Sivir's spell shield as Yuumi jumps off. Karthus trying to run the Sivir down. Doesn't have Wall of Despair yet, however. And yeah, Leona's sitting at level 2. Here's the recall from Sivir. Gets away right as Karthus' ward comes out. As Karthus goes down from an abscond over the wall. Once again, Banana Posse's top laners doing a fair job trying to prevent CSing from his opponent. Lee Sin and Sylas trying to go over the wall into the set, but not successful. Set's doing a real job sustaining a good minion lead. Nice movements from the Gragas, avoiding the W from... Yeah, the funny thing about the Sylas and Set matchup is that, like, you know, Sylas likes having visual access to the targets that he's going up against in lane, right? But Seth wants someone on both sides of him to land the stun with his head crush or whatever the heck it's called. Sylas goes in, Set buffers his E. And effectively blocks the Sylas from doing much. And providing Set good follow-up after the fact. Now if Set has enough damage output, then he can kind of kill Set pretty well from that situation. And first dragon going to Small Brains. If he has enough damage, he can, like, you know, kill Silas in that situation. But at the very least in laning state, he will generally come out on top. Especially, like, you know, if Silas does land his stuff, it will provide Set with some grit. And, you know, the move speed that he gets from his Q helps him get some sticking power for even more punishment. Yeah, you can see that positioning. He's... Ooh, missed the cannon, that's sad. Alright, Silas got the cannon. That was his goal. And he has the ultimate now. Here comes Lee Sin. Dragon Strike Q for the kill. No time for Set to do anything. He could have ulted to get out of that somewhat, but it was kind of questionable if he would survive through that. As Sivir will successfully die to the Leona and Nautilus. Nautilus of which, much better at CSing than the Urgot was able to last match, and significantly less deaths. Ooh, nice Gragas ultimate. Body slam misses, but the casket lands. Xin Zhao almost dead, not going to go in for the finisher. Getting out by the skin of his teeth. Doesn't have teleport available, and I assume his objective bounty is not ready yet either. Yeah, pretty far from it. And roll bounty, not objective. Oh. Wait, junglers finish their bounties? Oh no, that's Smite. Okay. Nice Set ult from the Silas, compounded with the Lee Sin, taking him out. Alright, Leona ult, but the E misses. Not Leona ult. Nautilus ult. As the Yuumi ultimate alongside Sivir's Ricochet will take Leona out, not quite the Nautilus. You want to be careful here as Karthus. You don't want to let your allies kill your own with her ricochets. But Silas is going to be hovering, possibly going to fish for a kill, but he was spotted. They will back off plenty far. As now Gragas does have a lane freeze, at least for the time being. The CSing of every lane is pretty close at this point. Most notable difference is Karthus and Lee Sin. Karthus should be a power farmer, but he has been caught out of his jungle, which is exactly what you want to be doing into a Karthus. As Sivir successfully escapes with the Yuumi on top. As Leona was trying to go for a bit of a flank on their bush. Decent poke from Gragas, but it's an equal exchange with the Xin. Nautilus trying to escape will avoid the Yuumi Q. Q sounds kind of like Mewtwo. Nice, nice. Getting low. Not going to be enough to finish yet. Will trade 1 for 1. That will give 2 stacks for the Silas. But Set did land his first kill, working on the Stride Breaker, as Sivir will be locked down. Yuumi ultimate not doing enough, as she will die to the Nautilus. Honestly, in a situation like that, I would kind of hope for a Karthus ultimate to secure the gold. I'm not sure how the Nautilus is going to be scaling for the end. Dragon Rage from Leona blocks off a straight escape from the Nautilus. As Silas comes in to assist, no kill there however. Yuumi taking Leona and Gragas killing Xin up top. Gonna back up a bit to see how that transpired. Alright. Just a barrel. Into a flash body slam. Alright, so once again, Small Brain's positioning themselves into a good spot. Karthus struggling a bit with his gold income. There wasn't any value obtained other than the first strike from his ultimate cast there. Very nice poke from the Gragas. Phase Rush helping him get out without any retaliation. Leona missing her E. As Xin Zhao is being taken out. Leona E catching the Sivir yet again. Ultimate comes out, stun onto the Sivir. Yuumi ult also out. Sivir's getting very low. Body block, stun. Sivir will take out the Leona. Kill going to Nautilus as well, however. Yuumi will get out safely. Gragas takes out a tower. His set is fighting for his life. Won't get much done, however, as fighting Lee Sin and Sylas together is very difficult. Karthus has his Dark Ring. Still unable to keep up with Lee Sin. Does have his Malignance. Might be banking on his first strike for his gold upkeep. But I think you need a bit more power to get more gold from it. Requiem is about to be off cooldown. Out comes the recall. Only 800 gold. Blasting Wand, I assume? Sork Shoes? Sork Shoes. Alright, out comes the ultimate from Leona onto the Sivir, who does not have flash, will be taken out. Yuumi kill sealed by the Karthus. Gragas comes down to help, but will run away. Actually comes back for a bit more. As Lee Sin trying to fight Xin Zhao, knocked to 100 health, will get chased down as he turns from the mist. Xin abilities to finish him off with a Q recast. Hook from Nautilus hitting the Gragas, but not doing a thing. Riptide is his rank 5 ability, so can't really expect his Q to do much. Sylas has Karthus ultimate. Cast it, cancelled. Kill for the set in that 1v2. Gragas cast coming out. Leona running for her life, will get body slammed. Nautilus hooking away. This is Sivir trying to fight Karthus. Avoiding the boomerangs and point blank range ain't the hardest thing to do. Moving a lot faster than you would expect though. Alright, finally got his first and second kill after such a long period of waiting. As a Needle Rod. Unsure if he's going to be going for Shadow Flame or Death Cap next up. As Sylas and Xin Zhao duking up at the top side, we see this fight by the Dragon. Leona ult coming out to the Lee Sin. Gragas cast blasting the enemies apart. Yuumi will get isolated and killed. Will this be the first neutral objective gain for Banana Posse? Teleport coming out from the Sylas to make this into a 4v4 situation. Xin Zhao nowhere to be seen as Lee Sin kicks away the Nautilus. Karthus goes down, ultimate up. Set W, landing a double kill secure onto the Sylas as Gragas flashes out yet again. Chased down by the Xin Zhao, will get body slammed, but the Q secures. And Leona nearly dies to the Sivir Q return. And then the Infernal Dragon right after. As this indeed looks like the first neutral objective of the day for Banana Posse. Does not land the Head Crusher, but ultimate does go out, will not succeed in killing Sivir as they successfully hide him out. Nice attempt there. But it did give Sivir a bit more. Increase her power. But Infernal Drake secured. That is a win. Maybe the first of 3, haha. Alright, you see Lee Sin rounding up the sides. I'm just gonna speed up a tad bit during certain. Alright, Lee Sin Qs and flashes in, misses the Q, so he will hop out. Out comes Leona ultimate, slow lands, followed by the stun. No Karthus follow-up yet. Q misses as Lee Sin finally gets there. Nautilus hooks, and Nautilus finally gets there. To land the hook onto Lee, will secure the kill. Leona down, Sivir down, Nautilus down. They got one objective, but the second one is still on the field. As Baron will be coming up in a minute, Herald will be gone shortly. And we may see an engagement between the Set and Gragas here soon, testing the waters. There's the Stride Breaker, 1 punch, 2 punch, into the W with no grit built up. Blocked a bit of the damage, however, avoided that body slam. Ult comes out, Karthus ult as well. Trying to punch what he can. Out comes the Head Crusher for the true damage W onto Gragas. 1v3, still landing the kill as Xin Zhao is murdering towers on the bottom side. Lee Sin and Sivir going to be confronting him shortly as Sylas is fighting the Leona and Karthus in the top. Karthus dead, forcing Leona to back off. Might have bit more off than they could chew right there. Fighting against Sylas, when you have a tank accessible, you may need a bit more damage to account for than you would anticipate. Because, you know, free heals and all that, especially when you have a Yuumi on top of him to provide even more shields. And honestly, in a situation like this, if I were Small Brains, I would probably opt for a Spear Visage onto Sylas and maybe Sivir as well. And Gragas. Honestly, all of them. Because you have a Yuumi, there's going to be a lot of shields. The Moonstone's there. You're going to have a lot of innate healing as well, so why not just multiply it? Especially since you're going up against a Karthus and a, you know, AP Nautilus. making yourselves unkillable might help quite a bit. Xin Zhao is your only real AD threat, as Set has mostly true damage. Xin Zhao goes down. As the tempo is in Small Brain's favor. Only about a 2,000 gold lead, however. Leona trying to go for a lockdown on the Sivir, but she is alone for about 4 seconds before her team shows up. And those she attempted to assail are now backing off and getting into position for a Baron attempt after Gragas takes the top inner turret. Welcome, Razy. Karthus ultimate coming out. Let's see that gold number pop over his head. 42. No death cap available yet. Karthus is still alive, but he's not going to be able to reach the Dragon Pit. Here comes Lee Sin trying to do something. Will take out the Sivir. Knocks another below half health, but it is a Lee Sin who will heal quite a bit. As Baron is down, Small Brains nabbing another one. Next dragon up in 15 seconds. Silas moving towards us here. Nautilus and Leona with Yuumi on top. This may spell death for the Nautilus. I don't expect Leona to try and help him out, as she will die if she does. As Nautilus did indeed go down, Xin Zhao does have teleport available. None for Set, however. And Karthus is a jungler. Of course he wouldn't have a teleport. What jungler would ever bring teleport? Would you think of something silly? Alright, Silas fighting too, including the Karthus. Xin Zhao avoiding those Karthus Qs. And Silas avoiding those Karthus Qs. As Leona goes down, Karthus goes down, Xin Zhao goes down, but Silas stays alive as Set is cross-mapping. Try and get a bit more, does get his Overlord's Blood Mail. Or is it Brood Mail? I'm not sure. It's Blood Mail. Another tower down for the Gragas. Out comes the Body Slam, missing the cast thanks to the buffer Q from Nautilus. There comes the explosive cast. Gragas, no ultimate, will not get caught in the head crusher. The head crusher. It's not. Face breaker. Okay. Xin Zhao landing the W. But his E is on cooldown, so not really any follow-up. Will ult to try and knock them away. Does not avoid enough damage in doing so. Brit fully stacked from Silas. Will get spell shield by the Sivir. Out comes the Karthus ultimate. And the Silas Karthus ultimate. As a lot of slows are attacking on Nautilus, Karthus goes down in the midst of the enemy team. There goes the Nautilus and Leona with only Lee Sin to fall. Will this be the end, actually? Although Sivir's pushing the top side. Gragas does have teleport available, so he could recall by and come back. But that is 4 people dead with about a 15-minute timer on the second person to revive. We'll see if Xin Zhao is going to be able to at least pressure the enemies off here, but that is a Yuumi on top of Sivir. He's a lot harder to kill than it may seem. Xin Zhao will go down. Set coming up next. Leona up in 3 seconds. Karthus is up as well right now, so defense is fortified. Recall is coming out. 41 kills to 17. A bloodier match than the last, but not over yet. At least I think it was bloodier than the last. Alright, Leona getting caught out, will flash away for his safety. But will she be able to escape? There comes the slow Sivir right on her back. Out comes the W from Nautilus. Explosive cast, set taken out, or set ultimate being used to take out Zinjao from Silas. Some knock-up right there. I assume it was from Nautilus ultimate. Ult from Karthus landing. Some big puddles right there, but healing coming out not long after. Only 3 up to defend this base. Alright, set ulted away. Out comes the W spell shield yet again. Karthus the only surviving member, as he will go down as well. Does succeed in killing Lee Sin, who went under the fountain, as Leona finally comes back up, trying to do something to Sivir, but will not happen, as that is game 2 for Small Brains No Mechanics. I apologize for the start of game 2. Game 1 went to Small Brains No Mechanics as well, so that is the end of today's matchup. Here is a bit of a look at the damage charts. 18 kills onto Silas. Not much damage coming out of the bot lane. I do think that a lane like that could theoretically be fine if you were to, like, you know, pace out the enemy health bars for the Karthus to be able to secure them without needing to go down there himself. It is a bit difficult considering it is a Sivir, so she could just hold on to it until those moments if she knows that you're going to be doing that. There's not really much that Nautilus can really do past the early state of the game in something like this. I feel like you're kind of banking on a messy brawl to happen, you know, in kind of a condensed state, but I don't think Leona really helps with creating that state. Like, it's hard to say what would kind of fit here. Like, a part of me wonders if, like, Nautilus would probably make it better, but in the end, you're still kind of missing a marksman, and I feel like there are some marksmen that could be good for situations like this, like maybe a Felios or something. But, you know, very silly drafts from Banana Posse in these matches. I'll show, you know, any newcomers what the first, or what the drafts were here real quick before signing off for the night. Alright, so you can see the game 1 and game 2 compositions were picked right there. Or wait, no, those were the... Yeah, those were the picks. Those were... Ah. So yeah. Game 1, Banana Posse with an Urgot 80 carry into a Yunara. Did not work very well. The range just didn't really match up, and the distance closing possible from Morgana and Yunara was pretty quick. And I'm not really sure what Urgot's base move speed is, but I think that Morgana's base move speed is pretty solid, so it makes it a bit difficult. Alright, but yeah. With that, we'll be ending it here. Thank y'all for stopping by. Once again, apologies for any issues on my part during these streams, camera control, or forgetting to change scenes. Thank you for pinging me whenever sort does happen. It really does feel bad on me. But so yeah, with that, thank y'all for stopping by. You have a great remainder of your night. Good night. And bye. What have you? Bye.